Mailbag preview show, episode 277, joined by Rob Scurry and Jack Dickens. Rob, good day last Saturday, good day yesterday at Canterbury. You going well?
Well, doesn't take much to go from an idiot to a genius in this game. But last Saturday was very enjoyable until we got to the thing that I sent out, Madame Pomeroy, and kind of, knocked me off my, run there. It was a sublime run, though, for a while with the 3-year-olds and getting that sunshine in Paris, which you sort of gave half a nod to.
Half a nod to. I think he just gave it a pretty solid nod.
Yeah, I was keen on it. Yeah, with its in secret form, and it won bloody well. So that was good to see. Jack, what about you? Globe best bet. Very unlucky, as in something
It
wrong.
wasn't unlucky. It's just shit the bed. Don't know what to do with that.
Jackson gave it a shocking report.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm confused by that. So did a couple of others, right? But it was $4 in a 3.30 late on Betfair.
I don't care. Some people don't. People that make the market don't care about yards sometimes, I guess.
No, the biggest ones do.
Mm.
So it was confusing. I think you just sort of forgive and hope for a price next start. Maybe in a weaker race, so you won't get a better price, but you might get the same price. I'll probably butter up again. If they can bounce back off that setback. So I had a little irregular heartbeat,
Yeah.
I had one of them last time. I was in Sydney with Rob, and he was getting me to ride around the streets of Coogee, or Coogee to the locals, but Coogee for the Victorians listening, on a little scooter that we picked up on the side of the road. It's a 35-year-old man I was then. It was a bit scary.
Anyway, you bring up the scooter story almost every week, Jack.
Yeah, I
just kind of get sick of it.
So you've extended your lead.
Try and remember next week.
You've extended your lead on the leaderboard there. You go to 81.88% pot. Jack, you slipped down to 63.9.
Fuck.
The Rob's extended, and that was with How Good Are You?
I couldn't even back it for the service because it just tipped over into that odds on, which was where it was in my mind. It was odds on. Had that situation with Macarena yesterday as well in the first at Canterbury. This is an odds on chance. That's one of the harder things to do about the tipping is these really short sort of runners.
Yeah.
Rachel King's just not a rider I just have any luck with. And, Jack, you once said to me, will you sleep okay at night if, when you look back on your day, and a max bet on Rachel King at odds on would keep me up at night if it got beat?
I didn't say Rachel King, did I? Like, I just meant, I mean, a good way to, I think what you're trying to say I said is a good way to measure a betting decision before you make it is, will I regret having this bet?
Yeah.
And it losing, or will I really regret not having this bet and it winning? Which way do I sort of, where's my regret thicker?
Yeah.
There's always going to be a regret. We're betting on ponies. I mean, anything can happen, but yeah.
All right.
Sometimes when they steep into those real short odds, you got to think, do I need this in my life?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, I had that Macarena yesterday. You see that race one? I think she's a really talented horse, actually. But yeah, Zach looked to go back, look for cover, realised there was no cover, and went off. Better get on my bike and get OSL. Toughed it out up straight. Good horse.
Good horse.
Good horse.
Great hair today too, Rob. By the way.
Thanks, mate.
All right.
Like, I need to shave my mate. Look at it. You can't even see my teeth. Anyway, sorry. Let's go.
That's right. Lots of dribble. We are racing at Randwick in Sydney, Flemington in
Rails out 7, John, at Sydney. 7-metre rail.
Rob, you were saying before we started recording, what do you think is going to happen with the track there?
I think it's going to be tougher for a horse like Fangirl or something. She'd want to be looking to, I just think it's going to be rails in run is going to be an advantage. I think horses will be able to lead and win on an even tempo. Just not the traditional sort of swoopy kind of Randwick that we get sometimes when the rail's in the true.
It's a tricky setup for Fangirl. Sort of gets a lot right, ticks a lot of boxes, but then it gets a 7-metre rail at Randwick, which is traditionally on pace. So Yeah, good luck.
We'll get to that race in a little bit more depth shortly. But Rob, you wanted to take a quick look at race 4, the benchmark 78 over 1,400 metres. Couple horses you're interested in there?
Certainly. I've never seen it, but Altivo is one of those horses that my mum found at Newcastle. She even tipped it to me. I watched it win from an unwinnable position at Newcastle. From that day on, it was going to be a group horse. It's all reports. It's a gangly thing. It'll keep improving. How he's set up here, I'm not so sure. But he's found favourite.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something I backed last start in a kind of a week race, maybe. It's called Mayrose. It's got barrier 1 with Tommy Sherry, and it's $16. Jason, we were on it for the service last week along with the winner in the race, but he took every wrong turn he possibly could. You know how much I love Jason Collett. Well, yeah, seemed to have a lot of luck with him. So does the service. But yeah, he wrote it an absolute shocker. I just think it's a good Saturday horse, and it should be storming home. I think it's got a pretty good record at Randwick, and its second up record's pretty good too.
Interesting runner, Gringotts comes from Melbourne with a steady to strong SP profile. Started favourite versus Najim's Hail the great man, hail him. That's going to stand up that form line, I think. Also, he's the horses, the Perencano Gelding's first preparation was pretty strong form, and really nice SPs. Just a winner. So I think it was almost the night time when this horse ran a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago at Moonee Valley. You didn't want to be where it was. Very interesting horse that they've sent up to Sydney.
Perfect.
Well, I guess I have to have a look at it. No idea.
I see Mayrose has just been, well, you think it looks like a Saturday horse. It's been sort of midways all the way through.
Yeah. I thought she paraded really, really well last week.
And Barry 1 could get.
Yeah. Well, she's a get back. She could be 3 back the fence. That's why it's it's probably in my head it's like a $9.50 chance or something.
All right, cool.
To be precise, Jack, with my prices, about $9.50.
Good. 4 to 5 an hour. No, I don't know if it's 4 to 5. Don't get upset if I was wrong there. I just made that up.
All right, these start to get into the group races with race 5. Don't know if you want to touch on this too much. It's the Kingston Town over 2,000 metres, Group 3. Do we have any opinion here? We've got Montefilia stepping up to the 2,000. Are we gonna be following her?
She needs to improve just a little bit off what she did last start. Colette goes on for the injured J-Mac.
Yeah.
I don't know. Inside draw. Intent, Uncle Chris.
Up to 2,000 is the big one here.
Mm.
But maybe she's an autumn horse. I think she won the Flight Stakes in the spring. But yeah, look, I think she's obviously the class horse suited under the weights, I think.
Yeah.
Tazarel down the bottom, big price, no rider. Unlikely to run, you'd assume, but you never know up there. And it was a very short priced horse earlier on in its racing life. Earlier on, God, I'm so tired, sorry. It went around very short last start, Tazarel.
Yeah, I was on it. It was a bet of the day, another one of those ones I've sent for the service before I did this show, and got smashed by a B grade import. Well, to me, it's B grade type, but presenting quite well in this just fine. And I think that's maybe the favourite in the race, and it won was very, 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 very strong last time.
If Tazarel does go around, you can tie it through race 3, number 9, Gran Tiarain. They raced together that day. So Gran Tiarain's right in the market. That's race 3, number 9. It wins, and that other horse is in Tazarel. A little bit of a confidence booster for you.
Yeah, well, look, it couldn't have paraded any better than it did last start, Tazarel. It's one of those times where I kind of went, oh, it's better than what I hoped for when I saw it. It's doing all those things that you love to see, Jack, when a horse parades, without going into those things. That's for another day.
Thought Major Bill was pretty good last start in that same race that they all come out of. I think it was the Chelmsford Obviously, the step up 2000 suits, but really dry ground, probably not its preference. I think it needs a bit of juice out of the track. But
The other one, Protagonist. We had a bet on that first up in the Rolling Mile. I think it's a quality horse. The spacing its runs, it's possibly a good sort of 2020. Maybe it's the Metrop horse.
All right, perfect. We'll move on to race 6, the Daily Tea Rose Stakes, 1400 metres, Group 2, 3-year-old fillies.
What a race.
Rob Kamachi, you're on last start. Couldn't quite catch Tis Invincible. Zach Lloyd took over for J-Mac on the day from memory, and he sticks with. What are you thinking here?
Oh, look, I've sort of been chasing this horse a little bit since its maiden when it was like $7 on a heavy track. I just thought, it's just such a good type, but not like a wet track, and it bolted in that day. So I think I've been on it its last 3 starts. I think it'll be hard to beat Tis Invincible, which is drawn ideally, also improving all the time. Zach Lloyd continues to kick goals, so likely out of those two, I think, drawn well. Strongly suggests they're the 2 best chances, and the market says that.
Market suggests that, yeah, indeed. Jack, any opinion there?
I agree. I think Tis Invincible maybe holds more aces and deserves to be the sort of lean if you want to back one of the 2. I think they're the 2 right. They look to me like the right form lines, and it's just like going to map well. They can be wherever they want to be. I think it's safer.
Thought the 10 French Endeavour had a massive odds. Wasn't too bad in the Silver Shadow Stakes. Skipped the Furious and went to Hawkesbury for a Class 1, I think it was, and killed them.
You're on, aren't you? This is good from John.
I think you can get $41 at the moment. Why not? A little throw at the stumps to beat the favourites.
And the thing, if they're leading and winning, Hippo could give a great side on the Gaybot horse Tropical Squall. It's 2 from 2 for Kenzo Wednesday. It's not much of a type, but there's something about it. I think it's a funny looking horse. I think it's going to continue to improve. So if their leaders are winning, I expect it at least shorten the market.
All right, perfect. We move on to the inaugural 7 Stakes?
I did the early crow this morning, and I was just too much happening. What is this? I said, I don't know what this race was, but I know it would have been something good.
Yeah. Valet Colgate Optic White.
Is that the Colgate?
Yeah, which is once upon a time called the George Main Stakes.
So this is the George Main Stakes for those playing.
This doesn't have any group or listed associated.
Oh shit! Well, maybe it's not the George Main. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's in 2 weeks' time on Grand Final day.
This might just be a brand new. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I remember,
Guys into the coffees, mate. What is it? It's like 4 p.m. over there.
2:30.
Remember watching.
I was on Nebraska.
Nespresso. What? All right.
There's always on Nebraska.
Again, I think the top of the weights here. I think
got him laugh. We got Jono laughing properly there. That's the first time in the history of the Mailbag. It's good. Uncomfortable gags get him laughing.
Uncomfortable is a good word. We briefly touched on this race when we were talking about whether Fangirl would be able to circle them. Rob, you said pre-recording you like the old boys.
Yeah, I think Zaki's coming along nicely. He will get every chance. Chad on a leader. Is there anything really else that sort of half take him on in the race? Pericles going very well, progressive horse speed. He'd be better suited in the Epsom, I reckon.
Zachy Lloyd.
Yeah, Zach Lloyd. Pericles looks like the number 1 seed for the Epsom to me. I think it's the 2 old boys here. Think It Over keeps improving. I keep finding him in the yard. God, he's a lovely horse. Guess who he's by, Jack?
So you think?
Yeah, so you think.
Got it.
And got him gone. Kelly's still walking, pal.
Zayrek paraded a bit sweaty. He's just a good horse. I think he's a bit outclassed here, but back in grade somewhere. And Fangirl, I don't think he can go wide and win with Kieran McAvoy, coming sort of 6, 7, 8 lanes off down. I just can't see it. So
it's kind of cool though, in a way. This is going to be a good race to watch without betting, and I know that a lot of, casual punters will just be on Fangirl, and I understand why, and they'll be cheering for him. And if it does, and it could just circle him and kill him, it's going to be a lot of like Fangirl hype around on the narrative machines next week, It's a potentially like, oh, where's Fangirl going sort of thing.
Well, you look at the Winx Stakes, which she obviously won, Bet Princess Grace, who arguably, probably shouldn't have won, but ran a good second to Brightside. Navajo Peaks come out and run out of its skin, who ran 13th in that race. Golden Mile ran 15th and came out and won, was that last week? So the form's been good. It likes the Randwick Mile, gets dry ground, but it's just possibly a track bias that could be what beats it.
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't be going against it.
Mm.
That's how I'd read the race, but you do you.
And there's always a tip for $1 million race, Kieran McAvoy, isn't there? Or there's
it's getting to Kieran's time of year. Yeah,
correct. Yeah. Anything
He's one of the very best.
Race? No.
Zaki looks a bet to me.
All right. The shorts, 1100 meter Group 2. A few good ones returning here, a couple good ones second up.
This is a great race.
What do we think? You want to go first, Jack?
I think In Secret's a bet.
Yeah.
I think it had one trial into that race. It was very, very good. She's a mare, a 4-year-old. She'll improve. You expect as she keeps racing. She doesn't need to beat these. She maps really well. The form's proper. Her SPs are proper. I just think she's a beast, and I really, really like her. I'm scared of, I think it's a great race, though. Like, Remark. Overpass, I'd love to have a spot on it, but, he might have run second in this race last year to Nature Strip, top of my head.
Yep.
But he went around $19 that day, probably, or $25 or $30. And, he's not much apart from he's like maybe just double the price now of In Secret. I just think he's sort of priced out of it. I think Private Eye and Marzu map tricky first up. I think Marzu's better on heavy ground. I thought Lost and Running's trial, because Lindsay's doing such a good job of trials in Melbourne. I started watching a few of these. He trialled super. And he's a horse with good ability. It's a great race. Buenos Noches is upside. The form out of that race is not so strong yet, but I think he's a proper horse too. I just love In Secret as a horse. I think she's top 5 in the country, and I think she'll win on Saturday, and she'll be single figures in the Everest.
Perfect. Great push. Rob?
I think if Lost and Running can get back to where he's been, I think he kind of maps to go very well here. I can't see a huge amount of pressure, and if it's on pace kind of day, other than Overpass, there are a couple of Everest runners. I think that those two will be hard to beat. Remark can only improve off his run the other day. Private Eye will run well, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know if he can win with that map.
All right, perfect. Yeah, you'd think In Secret would have Remark's measure stepping up in distance, would you think?
Yeah.
I think Remark had 2 good trials leading into that run and was backed and primed and, could slightly regress off that, whereas In Secret had 1 trial. You'd anticipate they sort of go like that.
Yeah.
He certainly regressed last preparation, but he was much more forward that first up race that he won. This time, he won, he looked like a, woolly and heavy. He didn't look like he was ready to, same thing what Jacko said about Imperatives, these top sprinters, they don't need to look fit or anywhere near fit.
All right, perfect. In Secret was my pick there as well, but you've touched on that enough. Any opinion, race 9, Bill Ritchie, 1400 meter Group 3?
Nah, I'd just be interested to see what the market does with Alencia. It was all the rage. And I thought it had enough, it was half plain. And now it's drawn car park. Uncle Chris has got the 11 and the 12 in the race, and he's put Jay Ford on them both. So God knows what that means. He's also got the 16, the 17, and the 4, 3, and the 2. So I don't know. I'd hate to be betting up there full time. God almighty.
Yeah. I was on the 17 the other day. It looked like it was home political debate. Race tests. I think the toppy looks well suited here. Converge. Thought he's run super in Brisbane. I think it'll be somewhere near. He gets 1400 first up. You know, he's a weight for age horse. The rest aren't.
Yeah, he was not far off Artorias and Peritras and first up last prep, and then, or 2 preps ago, I should say. Not far off Animo second up after that. And then, yeah, he's actually, I watched his 2 trials earlier when I was having a look, and they were both pretty nice.
And that'll do us in Sydney. There's a horse that Rob loves and likely going to have a good bet at in race 10, but you'll have to head to the mailbag.com.au to find out what that is and buy his set, Mounting Our Mail Key. You've got horses like Lost and Running going around, Synthetic Hoof Filler. Oh, scary. Don't worry about it. Let Rob tell you what's going on. How's he striding out? Do the right thing, the mailbag.com.au, buy Rob's stuff. Jono, let's and get ready for that big bet in race 10. And guys, let's head now to Flemington. Perfect. Headquarters. Rousing the True. Mackay Davis Stakes Day.
Craig Lee used to be, Jack. Craig Lee Stakes. One of the great days racing.
Was it? Rob's a lot older than he looks, if I haven't mentioned that before.
Yeah, 100%. Still remember the year Brunyon won. It was about 13. Anyway, Brunyon. Anyway, long time ago.
Black and white TVs.
He got disqualified. You won't find him in any books. Anyway, Friedman, those years, 90s. Jack, what do you like?
Race 1, 13 Buse. I think it's a small to moderate bet, punters. Then, Jono, where do you want to go next, baby? You just tell me. You pick a number, I'll tip the winner.
All right, lovely. Race 3.
Race 3, Detonator Jack will win. Jamie Carr goes on. A glorious trial. A lovely piece of work first up. Jamie Carr goes on. It's drawn wide. It suits her. She'll roll forward. Phenomenal balance. This horse is 1 from 1 track and trip. 1 from 1. It's a very good horse. It shouldn't be $5. It is currently. It starts shorter, and I think it will win. I'm against the Queenslander.
All right. Perfect.
Pick another number. You got 2 more races you can pick.
All right. Well, we'll go to race 6, the cap, whatever that is, stakes listed 1,100.
Oh, phenomenal race. Phenomenal race. I'd buy Jackson Oldham's Mounting Our Mail for this one. I mean, God almighty. Young, talented 3-year-old fillies, upside. You got Queenslanders here fresh. You got New South Wales horses fresh. You got Steel City returning fresh. You need a yard report. I've got a trial report in my own brain, but you need all of them combined, I think, to have any hope of finding the winner in this race. I'm just trying to keep on talking till I decide which one I'm going to land upon, and it is number 8. There's that pinky, Rob. Look at it. What a disgrace. Race 6, number 8, Stretton Angel. I think this horse is way above average and a stupid price. Jamie Carr goes on. Couldn't find a trial, but at that price, I'm happy to just bet. And if it starts, so it was $10 potentially last night. Yeah, a little bit of money so far. Good sign. So take $9 now, $8.50. If it starts $16, well, you've done your money. But it could well start $4 here. I'm quite keen on this horse, actually. Number 8, Stretton Angel. I really, really like the numbers out of the Morphettville runs, and I think the market's undervalued that early. I think that'll get cleaned up late. Will, from racing previous, who helps me a lot, loves this horse too, which made me keener. We couldn't find a trial, but I think at the price, who cares?
Yeah, you know what else I like, Jack? Barrier 24 down the straight.
Yeah. You had to give it a high five. Boom.
One of yours in there, Rob. Australia.
I was looking at Cigar Fit. Astria. Oh, Estrie. Look, she's honest. Good thing. Third up here, 1100. Not sure why she's going to 1100. Anyway, they know better than me, but yeah, nice horse. Surely run well. So should Cigar Flick.
It's a great race. It's a phenomenal race. Skirt the Law ran second. It's $4 here. That's how good this race is. It's $4, $3.80. It ran second and was a very good run behind Charmstone, who pissed in at Moonee Valley last Saturday, and his single figures to win a Golden Rose. That's how good this race is. I'm certainly not knocking Skirt the Law at all. Pug Maloney rides from 23, Riddle Roll forward. It's just a great race. I just like Stretton Angel at the price.
Does Stretton Angel tag Skirt the Law just behind him, getting that little bit of cover?
I'm hoping so. I anticipate some level of intent from Jamie Carr, the First Lady of Victorian Racing, and just pray to God that she gets through the gears.
All right.
I'm actually just going to have a little bit.
Race 7, Group 1, Maccabi Diva.
Oh, I've got one here too.
Rob and I were keen on Princess Grace in the Mimsy. Was she was an inferior ground back to the inside, Jack?
Yeah, and I believe she was also in slightly inferior ground up in Sydney. She's flying, no doubt, no knock, right? But she's drawn 7. She's half cursed, which is a funny thing to say about those silks because they're completely and utterly blessed. But she's the same price as Alligator Blood, essentially. She's not exactly, but she's 60 cents bigger, but there's not a lot between them. Alligator Blood drawn nicely, Ollie sticks, 3 starts this track and trip for 2 wins and a second. I think they're all at Group 1 level almost. Someone else do all that, research it for yourselves. But I reckon it lost to Catalyst or beat Catalyst, was it? With that Kiwi horse, Jono?
Alligator Blood beat Catalyst. Yeah.
Beat that. It got run over by I'm Thunderstruck. That was in this race last year, probably. And the other win, I don't know what it was, but it was a win. Anyway, It's going good. It's a great horse.
Underwood at Sandown.
It's a really good animal. A little bit like in Secret, who you got to lean to improving slightly second up. It improved second up last prep or off a different race shape though. Mr. Brightside's extremely hard to knock. Has been given 2 absolute peaches, but you can't sort of hold that against the horse because it's drawn 2 here and it's going to get the perfect ride from Craig Williams. And let's talk about that actually while we're on it.
I was wondering if that would come up.
Oh my God. A low act, a dumb act, racing at its absolute purest. What a glimpse inside the way people treat people. This bloke would have ridden track work and gone everywhere for this horse before it was any good. He's given it absolute peaches in big races and delivered relentlessly for them. In their opinion, this is an ex-jumps jockey and 2 of them and an owner. Their opinion of Craig Williams, a multiple Group 1 winning superstar and a phenomenal human being, that the ride was no good and we've got to sack him. It's a shit act. It's also very dumb. How good was the ride yesterday, face the jury, John, on Billy Pinn? Because he just knows the horse. There's value in that, I believe. You got Craig, who knows his horse. I think they'll sack him, and I think most of the country will, if they're not on it, betting-wise, and don't have an interest in the race, will be cheering for it to get beat. Stupid move by Clayton for his business too. But he's a yes man, and we know that. We've learnt that the hard way, so is he, and he's going to learn this one the hard way too. So you do you, but I think it's a shit act, and I feel sorry for Craig. Where was I? Osipenko is going to get a suck run here, Rob. Cheeky little suck up run. Uncle Chris.
Don't think can beat 1 and 2, mate. I think one's improving.
I think he'll run a nice race again without winning. I think I just want to see Osipenko to Flemington or to maybe Sandown, but it won't happen now, or to Randwick over the mile in a bigger race with more tempo. This is a horse that's never seen a proper tempo to the 600. I think that would bring this horse on. But the horse I'm going to actually have a bet at here, John, and a good bet, and it's right up your alley. Although more than half the field's trained by Kiwis. but this guy's a sort of more fresh Kiwi blood. This Aegon wasn't suited and was very good first up, wasn't suited second up, pass mark. Is a stupid price. I think the other horses are very hard to beat, but at the prices, he is ridiculously priced. He will get every possible. He might not even be in the last pair. He might be the closest he's ever been run in his life. He'll have the entire Flemington straight to wind up, and I'm happy to find out if he's good enough. He doesn't it's $26. I'm not bursting the bank here to have a good crack at this horse. I don't bet each way, and you probably shouldn't either in this race because they won't pay the third. But I just think he's a simple bet to have. He started $26 last start when he was never going to get suited in a fat field in a Group 1. He's going to get a good run here, and he's the same sort of price in a much thinner race. I think Aegon represents extreme value in the Maccabi Diva Stakes.
One of his good track and trip, one of his best track and trip runs was in the Champions Mile, Flemington Mile. He was beaten 0.1 from Brightside.
Yeah, which can be missed, right? Because he ran fourth. He's got track and trip, 2 starts, nothing. But he actually ran a great race in a great race.
Exactly.
It's probably a PB for him.
It was close to. I just had a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a great number at this track, and he did it off an absolute walk to the 600, which you probably get here. He takes a few boxes for me at the price. I could make him sort of $15, $16 and 26 as a gift.
Perfect. And just before we get over to New Zealand, just a quick comment. What do you think in the Let's Elope Amelia's Jewel, the Western Australia?
I need to know what race number that is, Mike.
Race 8.
I hate this race from a betting point of view because I can't confidently figure out what to give her as a rating to then start to price the race. I hate the map. I love going against the narrative, and that's probably what we'll go. I don't think you can have her shorter than $2. I think she's $1.95 maybe, $1.80. Yeah, no, we'll be against her.
Yeah,
I think we have to, but it is a bit more guessy and gut feel sort of behaviour. I wanted to find life lessons, but I think it's going to map awfully again. Two horses that really interested me in this race are Torgine and Pride of Jenny, particularly Torgine. It's got some SPs. It started $4 favourite versus Espiona. I think Espiona's, it's not Amelia's Jewel, but that's that sort of level of horse. Seems a big price for a horse. You know where it's going to be in run.
All right.
That'll do. You want the rest of it? The mailbag.com.au. We're going to zoom tonight. We're going to deep dive it. We're going to talk footy. Might talk golf. And we're actually going to have a big chat too about The Voice and what are we going to vote.
Yeah, you are.
2 races in New Zealand.
It's making sure Rob's listening. Let's go to Kiwi Land, John.
2 races, New Plymouth, race 2. A horse you'll know reasonably well, Rob. Polly Gray returns.
Oh, Polly!
As you'll know, Rob, or Jack, you'll probably know as well, absolute wet tracker.
Mutter.
It's got, very good form around not far off Hope in Your Heart and the Angst, a tissue. Just been
she went good the other
Hollindale on a wet track. Didn't go badly first up this prep over a mile. J-Mac on at Hawkesbury in the Rowley Mile. Comes back to New Zealand for a little open handicap, 1,800 metres, does get 62, but claims 4. So gets in a nice weight, 58. Just like some of its form in Australia looks very, very good for this. And you're getting $4. And
what's the track going to be rated?
Track's heavy 9 at the moment, rain coming. It's going to be wet. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. And the other one is another horse you may have seen, Rob, Mustang Valley. Ran a great race in the Doncaster.
Mustang Valley.
Back to the inside. Andrew Forsman horse. I
think, is it black and gold colours?
Black and red.
Yeah, I think I know the one. Yeah, it's a bay or a black horse.
Yeah. It was heavily backed in the Doncaster from memory. It started about $20, but I remember it being about 80s at one point. But then the rain came, and it loves the wet. Again, it's going to get the wet. It's a Group 1 winner on a heavy 10 in New Zealand. The Livermore ran massive.
Livermore.
1.5 lengths off Brightside.
Shout out to racing.com, Jono. That's all they play is Livermore, lads.
Yeah, that's deep in my
Carbone lawyers and Livermore.
We get a lot of Livermore over here too. But yeah, Mustang Valley, again, the same jockey on. It would have carried 61, gets 4 kilos off, 57 kilos. Looks like a great bet. I think it is about, let me just check. Sorry, race 5, New Plymouth. This one is number 2, $3.50 available. So they both look like good bets, I think. I'll go with Mustang Valley for my best bet.
Okay. I don't think I've given one yet. I'm coming around to Converge.
I'm going Flemington, race 6, number 8, Stratton Angel.
Wow.
It'll all be over when this thing wins.
Yeah.
Pot will go to 400%. I did want to find one for Craig.
Yeah. Is just quietly, as we've got 2 minutes left, is Stratton Angel in the original Field of Roses colours?
Yep. Shout out to Fields of Roses. 16K purchase. Tell him how much we won, John.
Just over 100,000. I think it was 101,000 in prize money.
Phenomenal horse. We love him, and we wish his new owners who paid 11 for him all the very best of luck. What a horse. Face the jury. Phenomenal yesterday. Brave. Up on the speed. Getting it done. What a horse. What a trainer. Jesus Bedgood. What else we got going on?
We've got only Queensland runners this weekend. Scapini in at Dolby on the 7-day backup after a good third last week at Toowoomba. She ran her best figure since we've had her, which was good to see. She looks like she'll be winning at pretty short notice, I would have thought. And Swiss Scandal runs on Sunday at the Sunshine Coast. His run first up was a little bit disappointing, but the form out of that race has been very strong, so expect him to improve. I know Tony was happy with him last week, so hoping he improves sharply. That's about
Beautiful. On that, trying to buy one privately at the moment, you're probably looking at 100 grand total horse. If you'd be interested in that sort of stuff, make sure you email jono@themailbag.com.au. I hope you all have a winning and a phenomenal weekend. If you have a football team, I hope they deliver for you. Be nice to each other. It's Are You OK Day today. So get off this YouTube, have your bets, gamble responsibly, and ring a mate and have a chat. Ask them how they're going. Do the right thing and have a great weekend. We love you and bye for now.